Ever wondered what makes Taylor Swift so, well, Taylor Swift? Let's find out. Taylor Swift, the name that echoes through stadiums and hearts alike. Taylor Allison Swift was born in West Reading, Pennsylvania on December 13, 1989. Swift spent her early years on a small farm with her parents. At age 9, Swift started taking vocal and acting lessons in New York City, and later shifted her focus toward country music. Inspired by Shania Twain and Faith Hill, the rising star learned to play guitar at 12 years old and began writing songs at that age, her first song being Lucky You, her very first song ever. In 2003, Taylor began modeling for Abercrombie & Fitch and had an original song included on the show's compilation CD. It wasn't long before she was discovered and signed by a major record label. When Taylor was 14, her family relocated to the Nashville area, purchasing a lakefront house in nearby Hendersonville, where Taylor attended high school. 2 years later, she transferred to Aaron Academy to better accommodate her touring schedule. Through homeschooling, Taylor graduated high school a year early. In Nashville, Taylor became the youngest artist ever signed by Sony ATV Publishing. Taylor ultimately left the group at age 14, feeling she needed to capture the early years of her life on an album. Taylor felt that she had a lot to offer with music representing her life challenges at that young age. While performing in Nashville's Bluebird Cafe in 2005, Swift caught the attention of Scott Borchetta, a record executive preparing to form an independent record label, Big Machine Records. Taylor was the new recording label's first artist to be signed, and her father purchased shares in the new company. Taylor's debut album included her first lead single, Tim McGraw, and was released on October 24, 2006. It peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard 200. Swift became the opening act for Brad Paisley's 2007 tour and worked tirelessly for the next 2 years promoting her work and career on radio and television and opening for various country artists throughout the US. Swift released her first 2 EPs, the Taylor Swift Holiday Collection and Beautiful Eyes, in October 2007 and July 2008 respectively, achieving huge success for all her work. Taylor was the youngest person ever to win the BMI Songwriter of the Year title in 2007. She also won awards at the CMAs, ACMs, and AMAs and was nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammy Awards. Taylor Swift had arrived. Swift's next album, Fearless, was released in November of 2008-11. Taylor released 5 more singles throughout 2008 and 2009. Love Story being the lead single peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. The second single, You Belong With Me, peaked at number 2 in the US and became the top-selling album of 2009. Swift's first tour, aptly named the Fearless Tour, was Taylor's first headlining tour, grossing over $63 million. Taylor released a documentary of the tour, releasing it on television and DVD. Taylor was named Female Artist of the Year by Billboard in 2009 and co-wrote songs with other major artists and also songs for Hannah Montana, which were featured on the movie's soundtrack. In August 2010, Swift released Mine, included in her third studio album, Speak Now. It debuted at number 3 on Billboard's Top 100. Swift wrote all 17 tracks on her third record by herself and co-produced every song. The album was released on October 25, 2010, and became a $1 million seller in its first week. Swift won Best Country Song and Best Country Solo Performance for Mean, which she performed during the Grammy Awards, placing her at the forefront of the country music scene. Swift won awards for Speak Now, including Songwriter of the Year at the BMI Awards, Entertainer of the Year at the ACMs and CMAs, and was named Billboard's Woman of the Year. The Speak Now World Tour was done between 2011 and 2012, grossing over $123 million. Swift also contributed to the Hunger Games soundtrack with 2 original songs, Eyes Open and Safe and Sound. The latter went on to win a Grammy Award and a Golden Globe nomination. Taylor has continued to drop hit after hit, building a career second to none. In 2012, Swift released We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, featured on the album Red. The song reached the top spot on iTunes' digital song sales chart only 50 minutes after its release, her third single reaching the 2nd position on Billboard Hot 100. Red was released on October 22, 2012. Red incorporated new genres for Swift, like heartland rock, dubstep, and dance pop influences. Red was Swift's first #1 album in the UK, with the Red Tour becoming the highest-grossing country tour when it finally finished. Red earned Swift 4 Grammy nominations, a VMA trophy, multiple AMA statues, a BMI Award for Songwriter of the Year, and the Pinnacle Award. In 2013, Taylor collaborated with Tim McGraw and Keith Urban on one of the most successful country songs of that year, Highway Don't Care. Taylor Swift isn't just about music, she's a master storyteller. Taylor moved to New York City in 2014 while she worked on her 5th studio album, 1989, which would become her most successful and longest charting record yet. It was at this time that Taylor moved away from her country roots and marketed 1989 as her first documented official pop album. The album sold 1.28 million copies in the US during the first week of release, debuting at the top of the Billboard 200 chart. 3 of its singles, Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Bad Blood, featuring rapper Kendrick Lamar, reached #1 worldwide. The 1989 World Tour was the highest-grossing tour of the year, with $250 million in total revenue. It was at this time that Taylor challenged 2 of the biggest streaming services in the world, Spotify and Apple Music, forcing them to deal with artists in a much fairer manner and paying artists all they were due. Swift was named Billboard's Woman of the Year in 2014, and multiple other accolades which solidified the 1989 era as the most awarded pop era of all time. Taylor co-wrote This Is What You Came For with Calvin Harris in 2016, and collaborated with Zayn Malik on I Don't Wanna Live Forever for the 50 Shades Darker soundtrack. The song reached #2 in the US and won Best Collaboration at the 2017 MTV Video Music Awards. After disappearing from social media during most of 2016, Swift executed one of the most successful comebacks in history with her 6th studio album, Reputation. Look What You Made Me Do was released as the album's lead single, and its music video broke the record for the most views in the first 24 hours of release. Swift became the first artist to have 4 albums sell 1 million copies within 1 week in the US. The project spawned 3 other international singles, including the US top 5 entry We're Ready For It. In support of Reputation, she embarked on her Reputation Stadium tour. In the US, the tour grossed $266.1 million in the box office and sold over 2 million tickets, breaking Swift's record for the highest-grossing US tour by a woman. Reputation was nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album at the 61st Grammy Awards in 2019, and at the 2018 AMAs, Taylor won Artist of the Year and Favorite Pop Rock Female Artist. After the 2018 ceremony, Swift won a total of 23 awards, becoming the most awarded female musician in AMA history. Relationships, heartbreaks, and self-growth, she's covered it all. In 2018, Taylor signed a multi-album deal with Universal Music Group. The contract included a provision for her to maintain ownership of her master's recordings. Her 7th album would become the first studio album owned by Swift. Lover became Taylor's 6th consecutive album to sell over 500,000 copies in its first week in the US, making Swift the first female artist to achieve this. Taylor starred as Bombalurina in the movie adaptation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical Cats. She co-wrote and recorded an original song for the movie called Beautiful Ghosts, which would earn her another Golden Globe and a Grammy nomination at the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards. The documentary Miss Americana, which chronicles part of her life and career over the years, premiered at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival and was released on Netflix in January 2020. Miss Americana features the original song Only the Young. During her promotion for Lover in 2019, Swift became embroiled in a publicized dispute with her former label Big Machine regarding the acquisition of her back catalog. Swift's masters, videos, and artworks were sold to Shamrock Holdings for a reported $300 million. Swift began re-recording her back catalog to own and be in control of her music and life's work. But wait, there's more. In 2020, Taylor surprise announced she would be releasing her 8th studio album, Folklore. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and became the year's longest-running #1 hit. The album's lead single, Cardigan, also debuted at #1. Folklore was the result of a collaboration with longtime musical partner Jack Antonoff, Aaron Dessner, and Bon Iver, all of whom are featured in one of the album's tracks. In 2020, Swift released the self-directed Folklore, the Long Pond Studio Sessions on Disney+, which profiled the inspirations behind the album. Folklore earned Swift 5 nominations at the Grammys, including Album and Song of the Year. Taylor won the Album of the Year statue, becoming the first woman to win the Grammys' highest honor 3 times. On December 10, 2020, Swift once again surprised her fans with the announcement of her 9th studio album and Folklore's sister record, Evermore. Folklore and Evermore embrace an indie folk and alternative rock production, a departure from Swift's previous upbeat pop releases. Both albums sold over 1 million units worldwide in its first week, and Folklore broke the record for first-day album streams by a female artist on Spotify. Taylor began working on the re-recordings of her first 6 studio albums in November of last year. The first release from this effort was the re-recording of her sophomore album Fearless, now Fearless, Taylor's version. Taylor's also a philanthropist, using her platform to support education, disaster relief, and more. From her humble beginnings to global superstardom, Taylor remains a good, clean example of what an all-round American girl should be. Look forward to seeing more of Taylor coming soon to a city near you. That's Taylor Swift for you, always evolving, always inspiring. Stay tuned for more Swiftie secrets. Click like and subscribe below for more on the people that influence your life.